In an age where just about everything is on the internet, a new exhibition puts the emphasis on seeing pieces of history in person. The National Library of Australia has a new collection of treasures. Kate Evans had a sneak preview.
Exhumed from the vaults of the library, they've been lovingly unwrapped and carefully arranged. From the obvious to the obscure, each tells a part of Australia's story.
We're seeking to tell, I suppose, two major stories in the gallery. One is the history of Australia in about 120 works from Dutch mapping in the Dutch East Indies in the 17th century through to the present. And the other section is really looking at international collection, Asian collections, rare books, early printed editions of things, prints and drawings, and it's a bit of fun.
It's a 50-year dream come true for the National Library of Australia. Envisaged when plans for the new building were being drawn up in the 1960s, the library finally has a permanent gallery to display the gems of its vast collection. For this first exhibition, 150 special objects have been laboriously selected.
More often than not, they're symbolic. They're things that are standing for lots of other things in the collection.
The exhibition includes not just books and manuscripts, but objects, artwork, maps, even a board game.
Whether that's the first draft of Waltzing Matilda, Utsen's original model for the Opera House, David Malouf's original manuscript for Jono, or Tim Winton's manuscript for Cloud Street, is a pretty powerful expression of ourselves and about how people have experienced this country over a very long period of time.
The handwriting of aviators Charles Kingsford Smith and Charles Ulm constitutes another treasure in these artefacts from their first successful flight across the Pacific in 1928. The plane was so noisy, handwritten notes spiked on sticks were the only way the navigators could communicate with the pilots in the cockpit.
Every now and again you'd feel something smack you in the back of the neck, and you would know that Harry Lyon had poked a message through to you, telling you how your course was shaping.
One of the most precious treasures is William Bligh's 1789 notebook, including his account of the mutiny on the Bounty.
I mean, the fact that William Bligh gets thrown off the Bounty, for example, commandeers a little notebook about this big, puts it in his pocket, and then fills it in religiously as they make that 6,000-kilometre journey, is pretty extraordinary. To think that that thing sort of survived.
The collection is anchored by two key sets of artefacts: Captain Cook's journal and the royal instructions he received that set the stage for the doctrine of terra nullius, and the case manuscripts pertaining to the man that helped overturn that doctrine, Eddie Mabo.
All this area was inhabited by Piandaran people. From my grandfather to my father and myself, makes it up to 20 generations altogether that we have occupied this area.
According to the library, even in this age of widespread digital access to documents like these, seeing the real thing still resonates.
Just to see the texture of the handwriting, the texture of the paper, the colour of it, the fact that it's in a tableau that sits with this large painting, which is the death of Cook, plus these other secret instructions that he was issued with, plus Lord Morton's hints that tell him not to take the land away from the Indigenous people, and yet he's got the secret instructions, which are saying basically, whatever you find, claim it for George III. And so you've got this tension, and that's history.